Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Clay, and I am the Bucks believer. In tonight's game, we saw Jrue Holiday knock down a clutch game-winning basket with just 2 seconds remaining, in which he was in a transition situation. He pulled up from the short corner and knocked down a huge shot to deliver the Milwaukee Bucks to a 112-111 victory over the Memphis Grizzlies. This was Jrue Holiday's third game since returning from the health and safety protocols, and he had easily his best game since getting back on the court. That brings me to today's stat of the night, which is Holiday's stat line. He had 15 points on 6 for 14 shooting. He didn't get off to the best start scoring the basketball, as he did miss a few shots in the first half that we would usually see Jrue convert. But as the game went on, he seemed to get more and more comfortable, as once again he was able to get into his pet game as driving to the basket and creating some space for himself by changing speeds and knocking down contested layups. And then obviously he made the huge shot at the end of the game. But really where he was able to make the biggest impact in his 23 minutes of play was on the defensive end of the court. He came up with 2 steals, including a very big play in which he was able to poke the ball away from Ja Morant in the fourth quarter. And what he was able to do on that side of the court was so important to the Bucks coming away with this win. Holiday is the Bucks' third best player, and he is very important to what they want to do. In order for them to succeed at the highest rate possible, they're going to need Jrue to be healthy and playing at his top-notch level. And today, we saw Jrue take a significant step forward in getting to that place. He's clearly not yet at 100%, and he was still on a minutes restriction. However, with the All-Star break coming up, he's going to have the ability to take a little bit of time off, focus on his conditioning, and come back against the New York Knicks next week in full strength and ready to compete and deliver this Bucks team to a few more victories, hopefully. The Bucks were really fortunate that Holiday was able to hit that game winner because, in all honesty, they probably did not deserve to win this basketball game. The second half was one of the worst halves I've seen the Bucks play over the past couple of seasons. They were outscored 60-51, but it really felt like it was quite a bit more lopsided than that. They allowed Ja Morant to score 28 points, and Ja was genuinely terrific tonight. He put up 35 points on 11 for 25 shooting. He got to the free throw line 11 times and made 10 of those, although he did miss a huge free throw with around 30 seconds remaining on the game clock. And he did struggle from the three-point line as he went just 3 for 13 from downtown. But overall, I was really impressed by what I saw with Ja, as he was not great to start off the game, but he stayed confident, he kept looking for his shot, and he was able to really get it going in the second half. The Bucks decided to go to a switch-heavy defensive scheme against him, and it really didn't work. Despite the Bucks closing with a 5-man unit of Holiday, Connaughton, DiVincenzo, Middleton, and Antetokounmpo, 5 guys that are capable of switching all screening actions, they were still unable to stop Morant, and he was able to get a lot of open looks that he was able to convert at a very high rate. So overall, a really great game from Ja, and he's the reason why the Grizzlies were able to be right in this contest like they were. And getting back to the Bucks' atrocious second half, they turned the ball over 9 times and went just 1 for 14 from the three-point line. Fortunately, that one make did come at a very opportune time, as Pat Connaughton made a huge 3 that took the Grizzlies' lead from 5 points to 2 points with less than 2 minutes remaining in the ballgame. That was kind of the cherry on top of what was a really fantastic game from Pat, in which he had 15 points and grabbed 9 rebounds, shot 6 for 11 from the field, and made 3 of his 7 three-pointers. So far this season, Pat Connaughton is playing as well as he has at any point during his Bucks tenure. He's shooting the ball well from 3, he's giving great energy on the defensive end, he's one of the best offensive rebounders from the guard position that I've seen in today's NBA, and he's also a really good rebounder because of that, a defensive rebounder because of that athleticism that he's flashed. Pat has ironed out a lot of the mistakes that he usually has made in the past, and he seems to be a much more consistent player on the basketball court. If he can keep shooting the ball the way he has so far this season, he can really help the Bucks out in the playoffs, and if he can make huge shots like this, well, that's just an added bonus. At this point, I think the Bucks' best five-man unit involves playing Pat Connaughton at the 3, and I would like to see Coach Mike Budenholzer try out that unit a little bit at the end of today's game. In my opinion, it worked quite well. Even though the switching scheme wasn't terrific on the defensive end, it led to some outstanding offensive spacing, and Giannis and Chris and Jrue were able to get some really easy looks out of those sets. So overall, I like the look with Jrue, Pat, Dante, Chris, and Giannis, and I hope that it's something the Bucks go to a bit more, especially because my trust in Pat Connaughton is growing with every passing game. I've made it this far without talking about Giannis's game, and overall he was pretty effective against a Grizzlies defense that had a hard time stopping him. He had 26 points, grabbed 11 rebounds, and dished out 8 assists while shooting 10 for 19 from the field. He also did move up on the Bucks leaderboards both in points and assists all time, so congratulations to him for that. I think he's now 3rd or 4th in points and 3rd in assists. So obviously one of the best Bucks of all time, right up there with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Sidney Moncrief, and the big dog Glenn Robinson. But anyways, Giannis had a really solid game, and I was especially impressed with his passing. He has really improved his ability as a playmaker this season, and in this game it felt like he found multiple three-point shooters for wide open looks. In the second half, the Bucks weren't able to convert those. But in the first half, they were absolutely raining down threes as they made 9 of their first 17. And a pretty good portion of those 9 three-pointers came off of driving kick situations that Giannis was able to create. So a nice game from Giannis. I would have liked to see him be a little bit more aggressive at times, as it would occasionally feel like he wasn't as impactful as he probably should be against a Memphis Grizzlies team that doesn't really have a defensive player that can reliably guard him. Dillon Brooks took on that assignment for large portions of this game. But I did like what I saw from Giannis in this one, and I especially loved to see his connection with Chris Middleton continue to get better as he threw down 2 lob passes from Cash. Chris had 22 points and grabbed 10 rebounds in this game. He wasn't his usual efficient self from the field as he shot just 6 for 17, but he did shoot the ball a bit better in the fourth quarter as he was struggling a lot in that third quarter, and that's a large reason why the Bucks allowed the Grizzlies to get back into this one and make it a closer game. But Chris did get to the line 9 times and made all 9 of those free throws. That kind of consistency is what has made him an all-star level player over the past 3 seasons. And it's important that he continues to knock down shots. He's been in a bit of a slump of late, so I'm very hopeful that this All-Star break will give him a chance to kind of gain some more confidence, reinvigorate himself, and once the regular season resumes, he'll be ready to pick up his play and get back to shooting the basketball the way he was to begin the season. Finally, I want to pose a question for any Memphis Grizzlies fan that is still watching this video. Watching tonight's game, I was really impressed with De'Anthony Melton. However, he played just 15 minutes. In those 15 minutes, he knocked down 2 threes, and he also was very important to what the Grizzlies were doing on the defensive end of the court, as he was able to come away with 3 steals. Melton is a player that I view as a really strong impact guy. He can handle the ball, he can attack closeouts and get to the basket, and he's excellent defensively. In my opinion, the swing skill with him was always the jump shot, but in the last 2 games combined, he has shot 8 for 13 from the 3-point line. So to me, that guy who's able to cover up for Ja Morant's weaknesses defensively while also being able to space the floor is the perfect backcourt candidate. So I'd like to see De'Anthony Melton get a little bit more runtime and probably take some of Dillon Brooks' minutes, as overall I'm just not a huge Dillon Brooks fan, as you'll know if you've been watching this channel for a while. So yeah, Grizzlies fans, should De'Anthony Melton play more? Am I wrong about that? Let me know in the comment section down below. I think I've covered everything that I wanted to cover. Leave a like if you enjoyed this video. Be sure to subscribe if you enjoy all things Bucks. Ladies and gentlemen, I think that's it for me. I will see you all again very soon.